one day? You keep working hard? Yeah. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
It's simple, CJ. Yes or no? GM, CJ? I have to run 6 miles either today or tomorrow.
You don't have to.
Yes, I do. I have to.
Let's be clear. You don't have to.
No, I have to run 6 miles as I continue on my training schedule.
Is something going to be chasing you for 6 miles?
Yeah, the thought of showing up on race day of the St. Jude Half Marathon and not having done long runs leading up to it.
How far is the half marathon?
13.
13 flat?
I think it's like 13.1.
Okay.
Because I think a marathon's 26.2.
And how much longer do you have?
It's the first weekend of December.
Okay.
I got a little over a month.
All right.
We're doing a 1 mile add-on every week.
Okay.
So we did 5 last week.
So you got to do 6.
So I need to do 6 this week. And every time we run, we say, why did we do this?
So how many times are you running 6 miles this week?
Once. Just once.
Okay.
Just 1 long run a week.
Gotcha.
And then occasionally I'll do like a short, like, twofer. And then we do our normal workouts.
Gotcha. Good luck to you. So you'll be at 13 the week before?
I won't make 13. I think our longest will be 11, which is what they suggest.
Okay. Why?
I don't know who they are.
Why suggest that?
Because if you can do 11, you can do 13.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to like crash your body out ahead of time, I think.
Okay.
That's my rationale.
All right. What was the song today?
Last name ever, first name greatest, like a sprained ankle.
What song is that?
Forever. Drake, Kanye.
Oh, okay. Oh, back when Drake and Kanye were cool.
So I don't plan on stopping at all.
All right. Oh, that's the one where he shuns things down in the mall. And telling every girl she's the one for me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the one. That is the one. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, October 22nd. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, welcome back, NBA. The NBA season is here. It returns tonight. The Grizzlies don't get started until tomorrow, but Mike Wallace will join the show with updates on Jaren Jackson Jr., Luke Kennard, and the team's upcoming road trip to tip off the season. We had Monday Night Football last night. Did we witness the best game of Lamar Jackson's career, and are the Ravens the best team in the NFL? I will also make a plea for anybody to save Justin Herbert. Will Coleman is going to join us about 40 minutes in. We'll talk to him about the Memphis Tigers, the latest on the Tyreek Smith scenario that is ongoing. We'll also get his takeaways from the Tigers' exhibition game against North Carolina last week. Looking forward to their exhibition game against Alabama. And we'll end with a little TV Tuesday, what we are watching. You know what we say. Yabba dabba doo.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't even wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jaren for the flush.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support. When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you. What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, dude won Player of the Year twice. Like
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They have actually hit the over on their win total for the season. Winning number 3. Their total was 2.5.
Hey, listen. If I had told you Vanderbilt was going to hit the over on their win total against Alabama, you guys would have kicked me off the show.
Crazy. Absolutely insane.
I tried to argue that they were going to be bowl eligible.
I said that was good. And they still might not be.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, ay. Let's have a little fun now. Ay. I wanna let it all out. Ay. That's what's it all about. Ay. Ay. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope you had a wonderful start to your week. Happy NBA Day to all who celebrate. If you're watching this show, I think you probably celebrate. We get 2 NBA games tonight. Knicks versus Celtics. The champions, the Boston Celtics, I think they'll do their ring ceremony, get the banner coming down, and then we get Timberwolves Lakers as the later game in the evening where, CJ, we're going to witness history tonight. What? It's like 98% sure. LeBron James and Bronny James are going to become the first father-son to ever play together in the NBA.
So we're just going to knock this out early and then never see it again, hopefully. Okay, good. Let them check in. Let them get that father-son moment, first 5 minutes of the game. Let him run around out there for 3 minutes and then do what you know is the right thing to do. Send his ass down to the G League and let him start trying to develop.
They want it to come in the flow of the game. Like they have been non-committal that it is 100% happening, but it feels very much like we're not 100% sure it's happening. Like Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. are scheduled to be in attendance tonight. So it is absolutely happening. Like there's no, like Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. aren't just going to the Lakers Timberwolves on a Tuesday night. I mean, whatever, it's opening night of the NBA. It's a big deal, fine. But they're going because you're going to witness LeBron and Bronny become the first father-son. And honestly, I'm excited for it. I will stay up to watch it. It is a 9 p.m. game, and I will watch it, and then I will probably go to sleep. Although I am excited to see the new look Timberwolves. I am excited for Knicks Celtics, which could be a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals, perhaps, here on night 1. Our chat question of the day, if you're joining us live, is who will win the NBA Finals, because the perfect day to pick that is here on October 22nd. Your option are the Celtics to go back-to-back, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Dallas Mavericks. And thus far, our hometown fans carrying it home. 67% of the early vote going to the Memphis Grizzlies.
You guys aren't biased at all.
No, of course not. What? FedEx Forum? couldn't be me. Don't know where my vote went. I don't know. It will be interesting to see for the Grizzlies, who start the season tomorrow. We did find out yesterday, womp womp, no Jaren Jackson Jr. to start the year for the Memphis Grizzlies. The hope is that he could be available when they come home for their home opener on Saturday. So they have 2 on the road before they come home for 4 and 6 nights here in Memphis. They're also without Luke Kennard. Mike Wallace is going to join the show in the next segment, and we will get all of the injury latest from him and the anticipation of the season starting tomorrow against the Utah Jazz. But before we turn the page officially to the NBA, and we never turn away from football because it's football, we had 2 Monday Night Football games last night, and is it time to give Lamar Jackson his 3rd MVP? Because he looked awesome last night for the Ravens. They beat the Bucs 41-31. Lamar was spectacular. 5 touchdowns. He only had 5 incompletions, so he had as many touchdowns last night as he had incompletions in the game. 333 total yards. He was 17-22 in the air. He has gotten so much better against the blitz, which was on full display last night. He's been really creative with his throws. He's been confident. He's been cool. He's been collected. He's been a wonderful leader of this Ravens offense. And yes, his life is made significantly easier by Derrick Henry and everything that Derrick Henry is able to do, even though Henry didn't have his best game of the season last night. But he also has such an assortment of weapons. You and I talked about it yesterday of who's the best team in the AFC, who's the best team in the NFC. And we put the Ravens and the Chiefs in a category of their own in the AFC, and I will stand by that because what the Ravens have offensively, the Chiefs have defensively. If you put them together, they'd be a perfect team. But the Ravens looked really, really solid last night.
It's a league full of really big, strong, fast, and athletic dudes. If you have one of those dudes who jumps off the screen, that is special. That is spectacular. And what Zay Flowers does for them as a wide receiver, and throw, what's his name? Is it Bates?
Bateman. Rashad Bateman.
Bateman. Throw Bateman in there as well. What those 2 little fast-ass receivers do for them is incredible to sit back and watch. So, yes, Lamar Jackson has been better handling the blitz. Last night, in particular, the blitz was getting to him. He's so elusive. He's not Josh Allen or Ben Roethlisberger or Cam Newton, where just the sheer size of him allows him to shrug off defensive linemen left and right. No, he's just elusive. He's hard to bring down. So he moves around in the pocket. He moves around outside of the pocket, and he's figuring out, and he's learned, I don't need to take off and run immediately. Let me square up and see who's running up. There Bateman is. Wide the hell open. Here you go. There Mark Andrews is. There's Isaiah Land. There's Trey Flowers. Excuse me. I'm mixing up my players.
You're fine.
There's Flowers, who's just fast. I don't know who the fastest dude in the NFL is. I hadn't sat down and looked at the next gen NFL tracker stats or what have you. But line them up and have them run 100, and I would put my money on Zay Flowers. Like, he's that fast and that fun of a receiver to sit down and watch. And Lamar Jackson is having one of those really, really special years. And when you have a running game with Derrick Henry that complements what Lamar Jackson can do running the ball as well. Henry is more of a power back. Lamar Jackson more of a finesse. When you have that going on with those weapons at wide receiver, it lends itself to your offense being really, 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 really good.
The fastest. I always think Tyreek Hill when you think fastest
throw
receiver.
Tyreek Hill in there.
Xavier Worthy broke the 40-yard dash record.
I forgot Worthy was running around.
Still have him.
But I'm not talking 40. I'm talking 100.
I got you. I will say I included the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in my best of the NFC yesterday, and last night's game made me take a bit of a pause on the Bucs. One, because they probably lost Chris Godwin for the year. That ankle turn was just awful. Like, he's not officially out for the year, but the look on his face and him immediately saying back to work broke my heart and would lead me to believe that he's probably done for the season. And that game turned. That's where last night, in terms of a performance for Lamar Jackson, like, they came back. They were down early. It felt like the Bucs could run away with that. And then Mike Evans re-aggravated his hamstring injury. This is why it was such a perfect, like, for Grizzlies fans right now watching what's happening with Jaren Jackson Jr., and I know the frustration of him not being available for opening night because you just want to see it. And you want the injuries of last season to be in the past, and it's easy to catastrophize because you witnessed it last year. But in dealing with a hamstring strain that he suffered on the first day of training camp. You want to be sure he's 100% good to go, and that goes with the conditioning involved in getting ready for the season and just making sure you're not going to be in a position like Mike Evans last night, who, after having his 100th career receiving touchdown and becoming the 11th player in NFL history to have 100 receiving touchdowns, then you see him on the ground in the end zone grabbing his hamstring. And it's like, oh man, and that stinks for the Bucs to lose both of them. And we don't know what Mike Evans' return will be now, but you just hope that he didn't make it worse.
And this is what the NFL becomes this time of the year. Catchphrases, cliches, whatever, they exist for a reason, though. Sports cliches exist for a reason. They're trite. I don't like them, but here I go. It's a war of attrition. When dudes start going down injured, can you adapt and change on the fly? And if you can't, do you have quality players behind them to pick up the slack? We saw it this weekend with the Chiefs, the 49ers. And the Chiefs, they're down a lot of players as well. We saw it with the Chiefs and the 49ers in that game, as the 49ers, without Debo, without Jennings didn't play, Ayuk went down injured, no McCaffrey.
Debo's in the hospital.
Right? So
with pneumonia.
Without those players, it's, hey, what are you? And now with the Bucs, it is, hey, without these two studs at wide receiver, are we confident trusting Baker to push the ball down the field still, or are we going to lean more on Bucky in that run game? I'm curious to see which way the Bucs go. And one of the reasons I like the Ravens is because usually you're not going to suffer 6 or 7 catastrophic injuries all within a week time span on one side of the ball, usually. So as long as you have some combination, Lamar Jackson first, and then at least one of those other dudes that I named, at least one of Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, or Rashad Bateman.
And Zay got injured last night.
You're fine. You're good to go. And also you throw in Mark Andrews was out to start the year. Mark Andrews is now back. So you throw him into that mix as well. He had at least 1 touchdown. He might have had 2 touchdowns last night, if I remember correctly. He had 1. You're fine. So they are built to be able to suffer injuries from a skill position player standpoint and still keep on humming along. Everybody's not built that way. So if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now offensively, and you're looking around, hey, we're down our 2 best offensive weapons. What do? I would think you'd say, all right, possession time. Let's just tote the tater and play really, really good defense. I think that defense is still pretty good. Yeah. They just ran into a buzzsaw. We've seen the Ravens make good defenses look inept this season. Let's just do that and then see what it gets us until one or both of those players come back, if one or both of those players can come back.
Yeah. A team that has no weapons and no run game played last night. You might not have seen it because for some godforsaken reason, the second Monday Night Football game wasn't on television. It was only streamable on ESPN Plus, which
I didn't know that.
I almost didn't watch a second of it out of protest because I was angry about it. If you're going to put it on streaming exclusive, at least make it something special, right? Like give me something new that drives me to want to change. And I know this sounds so dumb, but just the simplicity of pressing one remote and flipping back and forth between games is a luxury. As my husband said last night, we're losing our recipes. We're losing our great recipes, and the easiness of watching sports and going clickety, clickety, clickety without having to go into an app and then click into the app and then click the game in the app and then click out of the app and get back to my Xfinity for this. It was infuriating, but I was saved from watching my beautiful boy, Justin Herbert. My boy was let down yet again. Justin Herbert, in case you missed it because you couldn't see it, the Chargers lost to the Cardinals. Maybe one day Kyler Murray will throw to Marvin Harrison Jr., but last night was not the night.
You gotta let Marvin run.
Let Marvin free.
Run routes.
They gotta do something more creative for him, man.
Marvin, go get it. It's okay, wait a second.
He had a route last night where he was wide open. He would have had a 75-yard touchdown, and it wasn't even looking his way. But for Justin Herbert, in the loss, Justin Herbert threw for 349 yards. 349 yards, a passer rating of 97.1. And he became the first quarterback in NFL history to have that many yards with that high of a passer rating. And for his team to fail to score an offensive touchdown and lose the game. And for this, I say, Jalen Reagor, what are you doing? Because he's the one who fumbled what should have been, what could have been a touchdown. for the Chargers last night. Look at this beautiful ball by Justin Herbert. Oh, wow, what a great throw. Touchdown. No. Bloop. A bloop, bloop. This happens to Justin Herbert more than any other quarterback, I swear. And when you look at Justin Herbert's receivers last night, Will Dissly, Joshua Palmer, Simi Fehoko, Jalen Reagor, Stone Smart, J.K. Dobbins, Ladd McConkey, Kamani Vidal, and Eric Tomlinson. Please, I am begging the football gods to give Justin Herbert a number one receiver. It is all I ask for in the sweet, sweet world. He put up those stats, and the Chargers kicked 4 field goals and lost. And I woke up this morning enraged.
Correct me. Do you have the distance on the field goals? Because I don't think the field goals were particularly close field goals. Like, I don't think they were chip shots. I think they were 59.
Let's see what Cameron Dicker gave us.
50, like 48.
59,
Yeah.
50, 28, 47, and 40.
So that 28 was close. Oh, they're not. I'm curious about this game.
Are you?
I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. I'm going to have to go back and watch and see how in the hell does this even happen. There's a list of things that shouldn't happen in sports. Throwing for 350 yards and failing to score a touchdown, not failing to throw a passing touchdown. That offense failed to score a touchdown. That shouldn't happen. That's odd.
If you're Harbaugh, you got to go somewhere else than Greg Roman as your offensive coordinator. Like, they cannot run the ball.
No.
They are incapable. They've got nothing
Which is
going, and they
crazy.
have a pretty good defense. Someday Justin Herbert will be great. And on that day, I will say I stuck with you the whole time.
You should hop off of this man.
I'm not.
You should.
How can you see a performance like that with the receivers he has? It's amazing he can do anything.
What it tells me
It is a testament to the arm of Justin Herbert. He averaged 9 yards a pass.
And how many touchdowns?
0.
Like that's
Not his fault.
One wasn't. I'm trying to see
but it's
how
the whole
many more.
scheming of that offense. It's so frustrating.
The whole scheming of the offense that had the quarterback throw for almost 350 yards.
Yeah. And again, where's the touchdown?
Yeah, like that.
Help me out.
That's where it gets confusing.
Help me out here.
I need to see this. This is wild. Because how do you pick up all of those yards in the middle of the field, right? All of those yards from 20 to 20.
I just need.
And then you get close and you're like, nah, forget it. We can't score a touchdown.
Can you imagine? I know that they drafted Alt, which is great. Like, beef up those lines. Always important. But if, like, Justin Herbert had Malik Neighbors, and then Malik Neighbors could be free from the hell that is the New York Giants. Anyway, they'd probably still not score a touchdown because this is the life that they choose to live. Just maybe move back to San Diego. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. A change in atmosphere.
They weren't good in San Diego either.
Of course they weren't.
What are we doing?
But maybe Justin Herbert could start a family.
How many Super Bowls have they been to in your lifetime? One? One with Junior Seau?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just one. Probably just one for the foreseeable future.
They didn't do much.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Mike Wallace, senior editor at Grind City Media, is going to join us. The NBA season starts tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies season starts tomorrow against the Utah Jazz. They will be without Jaren Jackson Jr., along with a few other players. We'll get Mike's update on all of the injuries and what to look forward to as we enter 82 games, and then ... Because people always get mad at me when I'm like, 82 games. They're like, yeah, but what about the postseason? Well, you got to get through the first 82 first, and it starts tomorrow night. We'll get into it with Mike when we come back.
Laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds. GVWR.
Hot Wheels fans, don't miss the exciting return of Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Glow Party at FedEx Forum. Don't miss the world premiere of Stegosaurus. Watch your favorite Hot Wheels monster trucks light up the floor, including Gungster, Bone Shaker, and the legendary Bigfoot. Plus the dazzling dance party, laser light show, and more. And save up to 50% on kids' tickets. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind Hot Wheels experience at FedEx Forum, November 2nd and 3rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com.
Hey Grizzlies fans, after exciting hoops and a lucky night of gaming, where do you rest your head? Look no further than Southland Casino Hotel, proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Our high-rise hotel is the epitome of luxury and comfort. Picture this, you've just finished an evening of gaming and dining, so you head on over to one of our 300 rooms to end the night. Choose from standard, suite, and presidential suite, plus we're pet-friendly and offer mobility scooters for rent. It's a seamless experience for everyone. And don't miss the Main Street Exchange, right in the heart of our casino lobby. Whether you're
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You know, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract, and he is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday. That means it is time to catch up with senior editor of Grind City Media, Mike Wallace, ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies season opener tomorrow night against the Utah Jazz. Mike, how's it going?
During the break, we were talking. I said, we don't have Mike yet. Do you remember that conversation at all?
Yeah, but then there was never any follow-up, so I just assumed
there
that
was
at some point Mike got on the phone. I thought you would have said, hey, still no Mike. Hey, the segment that is supposed to be full of Mike Wallace, there's still no Mike on the phone.
Goodness.
Have we heard from him?
Maybe, maybe not. Now I don't know.
Now you don't know.
We've heard from him.
Okay.
Give him some time. He's going to join us.
Okay.
He'll be here.
On Skype?
Of course it's on
In
Skype.
person?
On Skype. The team.
Of course. I don't know. Now I'm confused. Now we're having a production meeting.
He's traveling with the team.
They don't leave until today.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were here yesterday.
Okay, cool.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, they leave today.
What are your expectations for the Grizzlies this season? Unless I say, hey, we got him, assume we don't have him. No news is not good news, Jessica.
I'm an optimist. I just assumed. My husband keeps telling me I'm not an optimist. I am absolutely an optimist. I'm a realist optimist.
You're a cheerful realist, which
I love that.
Which some may confuse with optimism.
But is not full
you're not
optimism.
Optimistic, no.
Okay.
No.
Are you a full pessimist or are you a curmudgeon-y realist?
I think I'm a curmudgeonly realist.
I agree with that.
I don't think I'm a pessimist.
We need to have scales to this. It
Yes.
can't just be as simple as optimist, pessimist. It doesn't encompass all
Tyra
things.
doesn't know words. She doesn't know what curmudgeon means.
Curmudgeon?
Cantankerous, grouchy.
Okay, when I say
Oscar
curmudgeon,
the Grouch,
I just
Kyra.
spit everywhere.
That's what I am.
When I say curmudgeon, who's the first person that comes to mind?
Oscar the Grouch.
Who's the first real person who comes to mind?
Oh, the first real person. Like a curmudgeon?
Yeah. Mine's Jim Boeheim.
The missus?
Every time. Oh, come on. You cannot. I don't think of women as curmudgeons. I think of curmudgeon as a very gendered word that goes towards
like
men.
an older man.
Like a shakes
That's a good
fist
point.
at cloud kind of
She
situation.
can be surly. Let me take
Surly is a good
She's
word.
not curmudgeonly. She is surly at times. A real curmudgeon. Jim Boeheim. Coaches have that. Like for some reason, you know who? Pop.
I was going to say. But there's something.
Pop.
Yes. In every sense of the word, Greg Popovich
Greg
fits
Popovich is a curmudgeon. Yes.
But for whatever reason, there's like too much of a sparkle in his eye for me to give him full curmudgeon status.
You could be a happy curmudgeon. You could be a curmudgeon that people like. Like Oscar the Grouch is the great example of a curmudgeon.
That's true.
And we love Oscar the Grouch. We're
That's
like,
true.
what are you going to do? Once you realize what you're up against, like getting blindsided by it is one thing. But once you realize what you're up against, you know, okay, Popovich is going to be a bit of a curmudgeon. Nick Saban is going to be a bit of a curmudgeon.
Bill Belichick. But is now living his best fall life,
right? So
prancing around with his girlfriend. I saw someone say, how confused or how weird would it be for Bill Belichick's kids after all of those years, like their entire lives, his falls were dedicated to probably very few smiles, laughs, giggles. Like there was no fall fun in the Belichick household. And now he's just like out at a pumpkin patch, like just living his best life. Like what more can you ask for?
I would be willing to bet he was doing that stuff before.
I don't think so.
It just wasn't sharing.
There was no space for that in his world. You asked me my expectations for the Grizzlies this season. I was going to have us give our official games,
Kyra, give him a call
record
now.
after 10 games.
Are we doing that right now?
No, I was going to have us do that tomorrow. This is my preview of us doing it tomorrow ahead of...
Tell me what we're supposed to do. Let me get pen and paper.
Okay, so tomorrow we're going to give our Grizzly record prediction, our overall record prediction after 10 games, scoring leader, rebounding leader, and our MVP, and where the Grizzlies finish in the West. You good with that? Anything I'm missing? Anything else we should be deciding upon tomorrow?
Kyra's going to make the graphic, so just send everything
Oh,
to
fantastic. We have a graphic.
What
Look
you
at
mean,
this
Kyra?
production meeting
What do you
on a
mean?
Tuesday as we await Mike Wallace, who allegedly is joining us soon. Mike is on. Sweet. I knew he was going to be on. It was just a matter of time.
What up, Mike?
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
How are you on this fine first day of the NBA Tuesday?
Ask him the curmudgeon question.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So when I say the word curmudgeon, who's the first person who comes to mind?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, I love your work.
And again, another curmudgeon that we love. We really
Okay,
enjoy Danny.
if we're gonna go the actor route, the ultimate curmudgeon is Larry David. Like Larry David is the epitome of curmudgeon-y. That is the essence of Larry David.
Yeah.
We said Popovich. Do you think Popovich is a curmudgeon?
See, I think he acts the part and he wants to be that part, but I think really deep down inside in private settings, you know, he's a very, very smart, intelligent, funny, engaging guy. And, you know, I've seen both sides of Greg Popovich, and I still wonder to this day why he wants to come across as the Scrooge or the curmudgeon in public settings.
I think it saves you. No one ever asks you to smile more. And as a woman, I know how horrible that is in one's life to have to deal with. But Mike,
it's not our fault. Y'all look better when you smile.
I'm smiling
smile.
today because the NBA women folks. Oh my God! Next thing you're gonna call me females. The NBA is back, so I have a big smile on my face. The Grizzlies play tomorrow. I know you were at Grizzlies availability yesterday. The team will travel to Utah today. Are you going on this road trip, Mike?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm going on a
so
road
you
trip.
will be along with them in Utah. But we did learn no Jaren Jackson Jr. for the first game of the season. What is the expectation for Jaren as he continues to try to come back from this hamstring injury?
You know, well, from the very moment that it happened on the first day of training camp, you know, Taylor Jenkins and the team have said that they were going to err on the side of caution and take precautions with Jaren. But then about midway through the preseason, indications were that the expectation was that he was going to be ready for the opener. And, you know, I guess I I bit for the pump. I bit the pump fake. I bit on the pump fake, and I thought the opener was the season opener, not the home opener. When it comes
joke's
to that.
on us.
So I guess that's where it is. I do know, and I've seen it with my very own eyes, man. Jaren has been, operating at near full speed in some of the workouts and some of the practices over the last couple of weeks. He may just not be right where they want him to be or where he wants to be today. Now that could change in a couple of days, and the hope is, by this weekend, if not at Houston, then certainly Saturday against the Orlando Magic in the home opener. The trend. I'll use Taylor's words now from now on. I'm not going to use my own interpretation. I'm going to use his. He's trending towards being available Saturday for the home opener.
I don't love the trend though, Mike. I have to be honest, because even last
Yeah.
week when it was the comments coming out of, I believe it was the availability going into the Grizzlies' final preseason game, and there wasn't really definitive language being used when it came to Jaren's availability, although I, like you, chose to be positive. Some might say optimistic. Some might say a little cheerful in thinking that Jaren would be available by the time they played the Jazz on Wednesday. So I look forward to when it is official, like Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing tonight. And I think there is a general sense of just like malaise from Grizzlies fans when it comes to injuries, which is going to be that's a very fair reaction to have considering what happened last season. I did see some people immediately go to, oh, well, what's going on with the training staff? Well, the Grizzlies have a new head trainer this season, so there's differences that are going into this year than last year. And ultimately, though, they are going to be without 4 rotation players on opening night because it's not just Jaren. It's, of course, Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams Jr., who we knew weren't going to be available. But now this Luke Kennard foot soreness has come up as well. What have you heard in terms of Luke Kennard? Because it feels like there's even less certainty on his return status.
Yeah, there's certainly, in all honesty, everything you just said is absolutely fair, Jessica. I mean, when you look at what this team endured last year and the injuries piling on top of one another, and then there was a clear delineation at media day that, hey, this is a new start. This is a fresh season. Let's put those things behind. And then immediately, 2 days before training camp, you hear about Vince Williams Jr. A week before that, you hear about Gigi Jackson breaking his foot in an off-season workout. First day of training camp, Jaren Jackson Jr. goes down. But what at the time was deemed a minor low-level strain. We're 3 weeks later now, and he's not available for the opening of the season. And then in between all of that, Luke Kennard, injures his foot against Indiana, last Monday. And we still don't have a definitive, what is this injury and what's the diagnosis? It's more, hey, week to week, we'll see where he is. And I think sometimes, that's not a comfortable place to be in because it seems like these things are adding up already going into the season. The difference is you have your main guys. You have, John Morant available. You have, Desmond Bane, you have Marcus Smart. Hopefully Jaren is there in the next couple of days or next couple of games. And, everything can take off from there. But it's certainly going to test the Grizzlies' depth going into this season because these things are body blows when it comes to the bench.
It tests the depth, and it could test the patience of us as we all watch this Grizzlies team, because I do think everyone wants to have a fast start in the NBA, but ultimately it's an 82-game regular season. Like, how you start is not always indicative of how you finish. But coming off of last year, it feels like there is an urgency for the Grizzlies to pop out and say, hi, remember us? We have John Morant, we have Desmond Bane. Hopefully we have Jaren Jackson Jr., and we are a formidable threat in the West. And when you look at the 2 road games that the Grizzlies start with on the road against the Jazz and the Rockets, and then they come home and play 4 in 6 nights with the Magic, the Bulls, the Nets, and the Bucks. And that's where it is a difficulty looking at those first 6, because that Bucks game is the second night of a back-to-back, and it could be an opportunity of a statement of sorts early. You just hope that there are more bodies available than there are going to be on Wednesday.
And you hope that not only because of the number, the opponents that you have, but because of the number of games you have in such a short stretch. You talked about 4 and 6 once they get home. Well, if you add that to the first 2, you're talking about 6 in 9, right? 6 games in 9 nights to open the season. And that's not easy to deal with no matter how you mix it up and who's on that schedule, just because of the frequency in which those games are coming when you have limited depth right now. So this team will be tested right out the gate. This schedule isn't overwhelming in terms of toughness of opponent, but it is toughness in terms of slate. And when you look at that, the Grizzlies have to be ready to go. And, as long as Ja is available, as long as Zach Edey can continue to show the promise that he's shown, and as long as Desmond and Marcus Smart are there, sort of be those veterans that can settle this team down on both ends of the floor, I think they'll be okay. You asked, I know you guys are putting the graphic together for tomorrow's show. How do these guys look in their first 10 games? I say 6-4 at worst, and 7-3 will be absolutely fantastic if they can do that. And if they're in that range, I think you can sort of settle your way into the season after that.
We were talking about standouts of the preseason yesterday and obvious answers of, seeing Ja and Dez back on the court at FedEx Forum looking like one of the best backcourts in the NBA is precisely what you wanted to see. The emergence of Jalen Wells, who his confidence, his shot is even more important with the Luke Kennard injury news and a rookie who might be having more run than immediately thought of this early in the season. Obviously, Zach Edey and everything that comes with him. We didn't mention Santi Aldama, and it feels more important than ever to mention Santi Aldama, who in that preseason finale had 19 points on 6 of 11 shooting. He was 5 of 7 from 3, also had 7 rebounds. Would you assume that Santi will be in the starting lineup come Wednesday?
Yeah, I'll assume that. I definitely will assume that. And I think you need to give a definite floor spacer if you're going to start Zach Edey alongside him. So Santi is that power forward that can space the floor. I was most encouraged, as you mentioned his stat line, about his rebounds. And he showed that at 6'11", he can definitely go in there and fight for rebounds. That's what he's going to have to do in order to help Zach Edey along that front line, because they do get small. Marcus Smart is going to be at small forward. Marcus Smart is, maybe 1.5 inches taller than I am, right? And I'm certainly not an NBA small forward height-wise. So, they're going to be small in the backcourt, but they can make up for that length in the front court, obviously. But it's going to definitely require Santi to be a little bit more aggressive as a defender and a little bit more aggressive as a rebounder. In what now we know is heading towards restricted free agency. He didn't get an extension along by the deadline, which was 6 o'clock yesterday, where you saw a lot of these other players, in their 3rd and 4th year get these extensions on rookie scale contracts. Santi didn't. So he's essentially playing for free agency starting tomorrow. And I think he's motivated for that, and he's looking forward to proving what he can do.
Couldn't they work something out in season, Mike? Or is it, hey, once his deadline hits, we're done negotiating, done talking about this, 1, and 2, how much of it is simply a cap constraint on the Grizzlies, where if they could, they would, but they can't pay him and pay everybody else without going into one of the tax aprons?
Well, they could, because whatever they negotiated right now wouldn't take effect until next season in terms of counting against the cap. What he's making this year is what he's going to make this year. And that's a manageable number that's already locked into the cap that keeps them underneath the apron for this season. You just have to realize and figure out how much you want to prioritize them. And I would almost argue, too, you have next year, you have Luke coming off your books, you have Marcus Smart coming off your books. And so you do have some flexibility. You already have Gigi Jackson locked in. You have Vince Williams Jr. locked in. You have Scottie Pippen locked in. You have Ja, Jaren, and Dez locked in. But beyond that, you're wide open in terms of mid-level exceptions, in terms of middle-of-the-road salaries for NBA players. They just weren't at a point right now where they were able to reach a definitive number on what Santi's value is. And that's fair. And Santi would say the same thing, too. He's kind of been up and down in terms of his production. And they just want to put to next season and see where it goes from there.
Like you said, lots of business was done before that deadline yesterday. Jalen Suggs, 5 years, $105 million. Alperen Şengün, 5 years, $185 million. Jalen Green, 3 years, $106 million. Trey Murphy, 4 years, $112 million. Aaron Gordon, 4 years, $113 million, to name a good number of them. Littered in all of those Shams notifications, I felt like I was getting one an hour with the new extension news. A Bobby Marks tweet pops up, and Bobby Marks reported that Jaren Jackson Jr. will revisit his extension talks next offseason. He has 2 years left on his current deal. He was eligible to sign an extension, but not doing so, the way I understand it, Mike, really doesn't say anything about his future here. And I'm curious from your standpoint why this makes the most sense for Jaren at this particular juncture.
Because if you're Jaren Jackson Jr., you have 2 more seasons left at your certain number, right? You don't want to lock yourself into today's prices when you know the NBA salary cap is only going to go up next year and a year after that. So you're locking in at today's prices when you could be costing yourself $50 million. If you decide to wait till next offseason, then the new collective bargaining agreement kicks in for the following year with the new TV revenue coming in. So if you're Jaren Jackson Jr., it didn't really make sense to short yourself for a second straight contract. Remember, Jaren is coming off of a deal where he didn't get max money. He got less than max, 2 years ago when he signed that first extension. This time around, I don't think he's looking at trying to give up any discounts. He's going to certainly be looking at a $300 million type contract when he's eligible to sign in free agency in next summer or thereafter.
Okay, before we let you go, I have to ask you what we're going to answer tomorrow. What's your Grizzly win total this season, Mike? Putting you on the spot.
That's you know what? I think that this team, I want to say 48 to 50.
Okay.
48 to 50, somewhere in that range right there. I think they're capable of having a 50-win season. And we all say this is all, predicated on health, right? But
sure.
You can say that about any team. So with relative health, I do think this Grizzlies team is a 50-win team in the West. And I see as many as 4 teams in the West having 50 wins. So if I say the Grizzlies are going to be right in that 4 or 5 range is where I project them to fall, I think they're going to be flirting with 50 wins right in there.
Who are your 4 50-win teams in the West?
I think Oklahoma City, certainly. I think Denver's getting back there. I think Phoenix is going to surprise some teams. And that last 50-win team will be either the Grizzlies or the Minnesota Timberwolves.
We will see the Timberwolves tonight against the Lakers. Will you be watching the probably feels like 100% yes, first time we will ever see a father-son duo play in the NBA with LeBron James and Bronny James?
I'm gonna watch it. I'm sure I'll be able to catch it whether I'm watching it live or whether it's gonna be shared on social media immediately. So
it'll be shared on social media immediately. Yeah. We should do an over/under how many tweets there are.
Yeah, it'll be a moment, and then I'm ready to move past that because I think again, credit and kudos to the LeBron and his family for this, and I think it's less of a story than it needs to be at this point. So we'll see where it goes.
I was gonna say, I think they're probably ready to move. I mean, obviously they want the moment, and it will be so special. And LeBron has talked about how special that moment is, but I can't imagine it's very fulfilling to hear all of the other noise around it constantly for anyone, for the Lakers, for JJ Redick as he's trying to get this team ready to go in his first year as head coach. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we all enjoyed it when CJ and his dad had their moment on Grind City Media, right? We captured that. We locked it in, and it's going to be a moment that lives in infamy.
All of us did not enjoy that, Mike.
It was so beautiful. I'm so sad that CJ's birthday fell on Media Day, or we could have recreated it for another year. Shout out Conrad Sr.
He has a new player to hate, and we didn't even talk about.
Who's his new player to hate?
If you can't play back-to-backs, what are you doing?
Joel Embiid.
He talked to me for 30 minutes this morning about how sorry Joel Embiid is. He said, I'd like to apologize to Dame. That's real.
Listen, I'll be honest. When I'm making predictions for the NBA at large, it makes me real skeptical on believing in a long run for the Sixers if you're going into the year with Joel Embiid saying, I'm not playing back-to-backs, and your fancy new, signing in Paul George popping it out and can't even be ready for game 1. Come on. It's tough.
Yeah.
Mike, safe travels to Utah. Enjoy the altitude.
Sure.
We'll see you when you get back.
Thank you, guys. All right.
That was Mike Wallace. You can get his latest up at grindcitymedia.com. He joins us each and every Tuesday. We will take a quick break here. When we come back, Will Coleman joins us on Tuesdays. He is a former Memphis Tigers basketball player. We will get his takes on the latest drama swirling around this Memphis Tigers team. Just feel it in the air going into another season. We'll also get his takes on last week's exhibition game against North Carolina, what he'd like to see as we continue approaching the season. Will Coleman when we come back.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's gonna be crazy. The fans are gonna be loud. We need just energy.
We're gonna need, the form rocking. We're gonna need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support. When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We got to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie has inked that contract. He is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well deserved, from my opinion. He straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cosnet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday. That means it is time to welcome Will Coleman into the studio. And Will, before we get into the current craziness regarding your Memphis Tigers, we were talking during the break because we were continuing our curmudgeon conversation, and somebody in the chat said Sophia from Golden Girls, who is a great curmudgeon example. Also, shout out to Olivia on The Sopranos. Those are two legitimate women who are curmudgeons. But Will, when we said Sophia, you were like, Sophia the First? And CJ and I were like, who's Sophia the First? And CJ was like, is that the woman from Modern Family? And I said, no, that's Sofia Vergara. And then I looked up Sophia the First, and she's a princess. She's a cartoon princess. But what I'm fascinated by, she was on TV from 2012 to 2018. Sabrina Carpenter was one of the voices on that show. And now Sabrina Carpenter is obviously one of the biggest pop stars that we have. So shout out to Sophia the First for being a part of Sabrina Carpenter's journey.
Sophia the First is she's very iconic in the in the adolescent world.
Okay, good.
You know.
You teach me something new each and every day, just like we're here to teach you something new each and every day, because you were actually at a Memphis Tigers practice yesterday, and I would love for you to share what you just shared with us.
I just like the energy was crazy. Guys was in there high-fiving and hanging out, having a good time. I'm So I'm still, y'all both looking at me like.
They were executing real well.
Yeah.
Everything looked good. You literally said, I was just at practice and it was totally normal.
There wasn't an air of any sort of confusion, questionability, negativity, nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
I actually think that's great. I think that's a solid thing. We did then ask you, was Tyreek Smith there? And you said, no. No, he wasn't. Which makes sense because Tyreek Smith, at least the facts that we do know, he's taken some time. We don't know if it's full time away from the team or partial time, but he's at least taken a day, maybe two, to gather his thoughts, put them in a basket, figure out what's going on. But this whole situation with Tyreek Smith, the transfer from SMU, originally popped off on Sunday night where there were reports that he was leaving Memphis. Yesterday, there were many developments within this, particularly from his mentor, who is named Helion Bugnite, and he is on social media, and he's been his mentor for a long time. I think he lived with him for a little bit, but like he's his guy. And this is how it ends, is by the end of the day, Boog says that he talked with Coach Penny. He's working on some stuff. I want the supporters to step up and help him. He has a really good team that has a chance to win big. Don't sabotage him. But this all comes off of Knight claiming that there are some NIL issues with Tyreek Smith, perhaps some problems with payments that he was promised from the Bluff City Collective. He did go out of his way to say FedEx did their part. However, there is another part of the job that hasn't been fulfilled. He consistently said this isn't on Penny Hardaway. NIL conversations were never done with Penny. These are done with other people. And now Penny Hardaway is left trying to clean up messes that he didn't help make. Those are the words of Knight. When you look at Tyreek Smith, he's a redshirt senior, redshirt fifth year, I should even say, 6'8" forward. He did not start in the Tigers game against North Carolina, so there was originally some question of, is he trying to leave because he's mad about playing time or his potential role with the team? There has been pushback from Knight, and I was listening to Jason Munns, the beat reporter for the Commercial Appeal, on the radio yesterday. He said his mother, in a similar fashion, has said, like, Tyreek is still with the team, has not left. This isn't role related, but it sounds like it all comes down to NIL, at least based on what we know. And as of this morning, we do not know if Tyreek Smith will be a member of the Memphis Tigers. But when you hear this, how frustrating is it to just not be able to go into a season without some semblance of drama?
You know, this is I guess a multifaceted, and it's a shame. I don't know. I only have, which I'm extremely grateful for. I got 20 minutes with you guys.
For sure.
And there's so many other things that could be said about this particular subject, and not just with this program, but every program. And I am, I guess, the black sheep in this situation. I think it all boils down to there needs to be some kind of regulation on this NIL stuff. I obviously I won't. I'm all for kids getting paid. I'm all for kids, name, image, likeness. I'm for it all. But there needs to be some type of ceiling or contract or binding something, because you got to. And Penny has said it once before. There are kids out here making more money than my coaching staff, and he's this has come out of his mouth. And when you have guys, we've essentially given the kids the power in the NCAA. And if something comes up funny, or if the money start coming in funny or something, they can just, I'm leaving, I'm out. And that destroys programs, and I think ultimately that hurts programs. So having something like this happen right before, the season starts and we go into a loaded Alabama team, just that like I said, just that energy could, put a damper on some programs. But like I said, watching those guys come together and how energetic they were and the positivity in there, and you wouldn't even notice any of this stuff was going on. I didn't even know.
That's good.
Just the high-fiving and the cheering and the support and just everything, man. It was amazing to see and amazing to be there. Like I'm always, you're not going to ever hear a negative thing come out my mouth about my Tigers, obviously, just because it's my alma mater. Right. But I just think, to answer your question, it does get a little annoying sometimes to hear some stuff going into a season, every year, but I still think we find a way to overcome all the adversities and things that happen and still go out there and play some great basketball.
Well, you brought up a great point at the start of your thought about, hey, put some type of guardrails up to protect people from this stuff happening on both ends.
Yeah.
To protect players from, so to speak, shaking down programs once they get there, one, and two, to protect players from being outright lied to and misled, deceived by programs. We saw this pop off with UNLV earlier this year in football, where whatever the NIL agreement was, it's not a binding contract. It seems like there's some handshakes, a little nudge going on there, and then when the season comes, it's, hey, we don't got it, but you can't really transfer, so you're gonna have to stick this out, and players are opting to sit out or try and transfer elsewhere because NIL promises and agreements aren't being fulfilled. They've got to find a way to make these things binding on both ends.
It's not, like, I don't think it's the place for NIL. I truly believe, and we can call it the evolution of NIL, but this all leads to, you have to have revenue sharing. Like some of the biggest brains in college sports have been preaching this, and as the ongoing settlements continue, like, what the end goal looks like to me is revenue sharing and is treating college athletes as professionals, which they are. Like, the sham is over. Like, you're not, sure, you get a college education and room and board, but like, you are going to a university to play a sport that they recruited you to come play, and your schedule does not allow you to be a normal student by any means. The concept of a student athlete feels incredibly archaic. You are a professional, for lack of a better word, and you have to be paid as sorts, and that will prevent the mess of the NIL from continuing on this kind of runaway train where you are, like, Memphis isn't alone. That was my main takeaway when this all pops off. And people get so frustrated and they're like, oh, here we go again. Memphis isn't unique. Like, sure, does it get out everywhere? No, and you can talk about that. Like, why is there always conversations to be had? And the Memphis media market is interesting, and it's smaller, and there's a lot of attention there. But this is happening in schools all across the country where kids feel as if they have been promised one thing, they aren't getting another, or schools have done, go ahead,
Didn't
CJ.
USC have a defensive lineman who decided to opt out recently over the NIL?
Yes, and re-enter the transfer portal and then go try to get your money elsewhere. But it has to be set up differently. And so I understand, like, the people who are just frustrated from the standpoint of what happened to the sport I love, it kind of like missed me with that. Because then you're asking to go back to this old way, and it feels really icky, because there are still people out there who are like, well, these kids shouldn't be getting paid anything, and we're so far past that. Like, if you're still feeling that way, please try to come around to the notion, or the reality, not the notion, of like what these kids' jobs are for their universities.
And they're and like I said, these different, and it happens, right? You're gonna go into certain programs where you're gonna have certain kids getting paid a certain amount of money, and unfortunately, you're gonna have other kids who may not get as much money. That's just the way. Yeah, it's employment, man, and it's just, you gotta. Once we get to that point, and you got a 6-figure player on your team, you got to figure out a way, like you said, to regulate it. Okay, we're gonna give you X amount of percent up here. I mean, just start negotiating these things like, I guess, a regular contract.
Well, and Will, what you're talking about, regular contract and employment, that can't come from NIL collectives. And this is the hang-up. It's got to come from the universities.
And that's the revenue sharing.
The universities don't want to Jessica's point, share that revenue. What the universities would rather do is have you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, not hundreds of thousands of dollars, excuse me, hundreds of dollars to run on the field with the team, so that then they can put that towards NIL collective. What they want to do is give you an NIL tax, so that when you buy tickets, a percentage of the ticket purchase is going to the NIL collective. Instead of, the universities are the ones who are able to pay.
Yeah.
They're breaking in hundreds of millions of dollars off of football and men's basketball, mostly. And they don't want to share that money. They're trying to find ways to get around that. But what needs to happen, and Jessica talked about it, and you're hinting at it, They've got to become employees of the university, and then you sign them to contracts. How long is a contract? Hey, let me get a 1 year plus 1, 2 year plus 1, something like that. Sign that contract. Then you're obligated to pay if you're the university, and you're obligated to play if you're the player. Right. And that stops all of this from happening. But right now, it's gone from behind the scenes, like this stuff was happening behind the scenes at a lot of places, to now it's in front of the cameras, and now we all know about it and all talk about it freely, and we're seeing just how chaotic and how reckless it is.
And I don't think people, it had all the bells and whistles. It was nice and shiny in the beginning. Oh, players can get paid, everybody can get paid. But I think, even being in Memphis and certain universities in certain places, I think, having that money is a bit more troublesome in the recruiting process, because we are in the backyard of the Grizz. And the Grizz are here. I love it. But I feel and I fear that we often pull from the same donor pockets. So whereas if we're able to give a player, I'm just throwing a number out there, $500,000, that number may be split or cut or diced in some shape, form, or fashion, because we're trying to raise money to figure out how we can keep the Grizz booming. We're trying to figure out how we can keep the Tigers booming. How do we get players in here to pay this, that, and the third? And so when you don't have a university that's strictly just that university, like Alabama, they just took they just grabbed the number one big in the transfer portal from Carolina with Clifford. I mean, I don't even know how much he making, but when you got a big like that, and you in a university where you have nothing but that school and you can afford to pay this person, like, how do we compete with that? It's tough.
Yeah.
We got to figure out a way around it, because I looked at an article the other day, and the average big man, a pick and pop big man, that's decent, is somewhere between $3,000 to $4,000 or $300,000 to $400,000. That's what they're worth. And so, can we afford to pay a big man that much? I don't know. I don't know what the dollars look like. But I'm just saying, if that's what an average pick and pop big man is worth, like, we in trouble.
Well, listen, man. That before now, it would be facilities, right? It would be the program tradition that this is built on. So if you don't got the tradition, if you don't got the weight room facilities, if you don't send players to the NBA, well, it's going to be tough for you to recruit. Recruiting's going to be tough, because it's 300 and some men's college basketball teams out here who are all trying to get the best players they can possibly get. Paying them is not making it more or less tough in any sort of way that matters to me. What matters, though, is if you tell that big man, using your example, we got you, the average is 300 to 400, we got you at 350, and he steps on campus and you give him 200 and say, we'll figure out the rest of it later on, then, like, what are we doing here? Like, that can't happen. If the big man steps on campus and the agreement is 350, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm averaging a double-double. I'm shooting over 40% from three. I think I should be closer to 575. Either pay me or I'm sitting out. And then you say no and he sits out. Well, then that becomes the issue. You've got to protect from that. The paying of players is here. Finally, it has come, and it's a good thing. Now what needs to happen is we need protections in place to both protect the players and the programs.
And they are moving in the direction. I mean, we reached the preliminary approval of the House versus NCAA settlement, which is precisely this, which is setting the table for revenue sharing. That could come as early as 2025. And then it will be a matter of, okay, how much money in the pool of a school like the University of Memphis, how much money do they have to pay their athletes? And those will be the next conversations to have. But as it pertains to Memphis right now, we will see what happens to the case of Tyreek Smith. According to Knight, his person, his advisor, this isn't over. Like, they are trying to make this still work. I did want to ask you, though, and this is why it's so unfortunate, because you did have a Memphis exhibition game last week against North Carolina since we last saw you, and they did not win that exhibition game, but I thought there were some pretty significant positives to take away. What stood out to you from the team as they have their next exhibition game against Alabama next week, and then the season starts 2 weeks from yesterday?
I just think it's one of my favorite words. I think a form or a sense of resilience was there, because you're playing. Obviously, we were up 12 at one point. And, basketball is a game of runs. I think athletes apply a lot of life to their respective sport, and I feel like that. I feel that way about life, but we go up 12. We take a couple bumps, take a couple bruises, then we go down 12. But when something like that happens and you're going on a game of runs and a team is able to stick in it and stay with it and continue to fight, we cut the lead. I think ultimately we ended up losing by 4, 6, maybe. But I think to be able to stay in the dog fight like that and continue to play shows a lot of grit, heart. I think it shows a lot, and I think it shows a lot of flashes of who we could be. Obviously we didn't have Cisse down there, who was just an absolute. Goodness gracious, that's a big dude. But we didn't have him down there, and again, it was the first game of the season exhibition, and I think all in all that night was a great turnout from the event to the team to the plan. I think we're solid, but walking into Alabama, I think we're gonna have to put our hard hats on because the roster that they got is loaded. I was trying to do some homework on it. It's still super early, so you don't get to really see much. But on paper, they got. I feel like they got another Final Four team on paper. Now see how they look when they start playing again.
CJ is giving you the glare.
I think they do. I know CJ. Me and CJ kind of when we start talking about teams, on paper, I don't see why not, man. I think they have a talented squad, man. And I'm excited to see how we fare when we play them.
We hadn't played a game yet.
I know, man.
We haven't gone trick-or-treating yet.
I know.
Has Native American Day popped off yet? Indigenous People Day?
Yes, that was last week.
Okay, well, forgive me for
How dare
forgetting
you?
about it. We
man.
just finished Indigenous Peoples celebration.
On paper, I can't have that. On paper?
No.
On paper.
Good.
On paper.
People.
On paper.
On paper.
Okay, so what's the difference?
On paper, who's your Final Four, Will? On paper. Let's get it.
Man,
I don't think it's absurd to say before Halloween, before the season starts, if you were asked to pick a Final Four, it makes absolute sense for Alabama to be in that mix.
That's what I'm asking. Who else is on this paper of Final Four team?
Well, you got two. I say on paper, you got Bama. You got to throw UConn in the mix. I mean, come on. I'm excited to see what pop off at Houston.
Not taking a step back.
and Kansas.
No cheating. No love for North Carolina? On paper. This is all on paper.
See, this I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of basketball, but just taking a glance at things and, just kind of probing a little bit to see what's going to be out there once the season gets rolling. I think Alabama's going to be a tough one, and it's going to be a hard game to
so
get
you guys
in
heard it here first. Go run and bet your house on it. Go.
Now, I didn't say no. I see CJ doing that. CJ doing what CJ do. I didn't say. I just said on paper. That's the difference. I just said that you can easily say on paper. If you look at a roster, you could be on any sport. I don't care if you're playing.
CJ gets really literal. Like anytime you say,
I don't care if you're out here playing Quidditch. On paper, if you got Harry Potter on your squad in Quidditch, you gonna bet the house on that.
I mean, not if he's playing the Thorn Dragons. No, I'm not.
If Harry Potter on your squad, you betting on Potter in his squad. That's what I'm saying.
If Harry Potter is playing against the Hillmonger Hippogriffs, no, I'm taking the Hillmonger Hippogriffs.
No, come on, no way, dude.
What are you talking about?
Come on, dog. No, sir.
I'm
no,
old
sir,
enough
dog.
to remember. What was Crumb's first name?
Come on, dog.
Victor?
Victor Crumb.
Victor
yes.
Crumb.
Come on, dog.
Like, come on.
It'd be
a good match.
Come on, dog. If Potter got you on your squad with Hermione
doesn't play Quidditch.
It don't matter. She could be a role player. She be on the bench.
She's not even a player.
If she on the roster, you gonna pick her. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, dog.
Whichever team Hermione's on, I'm picking the other team.
Why?
You're going to exploit that. What is she even going to play? She's not a seeker. She's not a bludgeoner. What is she going to do?
Man, it's multiple roles on the team.
I understand that. She can't fulfill any of them.
Well, come on, dog. Don't do it like that.
Favorite Quidditch player
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Perfect example.
Okay.
She could be. Let's say she's some eye candy, right? And I'm gonna tell you what it do. So, quick story. Just hear me out. Listen to me. 2010, Memphis Tigers, we down playing SMU. First off, we getting smacked. We getting smacked. It's one of my favorite stories because I talk to DJ all the time. We laugh about it all the time. We getting smacked. DJ Steffens. We getting smacked, okay? Papa Doc, I can't remember his name, giving everybody on the team 30. So we on the bench, game tied, we chilling. DJ got some honeys at the game.
Okay.
DJ got some honeys at the game. They sit in front row. And so we supposed to be focused on the game, but we all talking about, man, who that over there at the game? And DJ on the bench like, hey, yeah, they here with me. kind of like,
wait, so y'all are catching the ass whooping from SMU.
Yeah.
But you're still.
You done peeped it.
Yeah, I done peeped it. And so we peeping the game, but we also, we flirting across the court. And so after the game, we get smacked. We don't think anything. I'm like, dang, we lost, man. This was a very important game, by the way. We lose. So we go to film session. Sip. I don't know where the hell he found this film. Sip got a close-up of us, Kiki and Kakan on the bench. No. And he got a clip of a close-up of the honeys across the court, dog. And we like, Sip, where you get this from? How did this happen? And so, kind of same thing with Potter and Hermione. Hermione on the bench. You got some on the other team. Like, who the honey over there? And you know what I'm saying?
Didn't Hermione date Crumb? Like, didn't they go to the ball together?
Yeah, they did go to the ball together.
So maybe Hermione can just...
And made Harry jealous.
See?
I mean, Ron jealous.
Made Ron jealous. See?
Harry was with...
Jeannie.
Well, she didn't take Ginny to the ball. He took...
Somebody else. I don't know her name.
He took Cho Chang.
Okay.
One of the...
problematically
named characters.
There's room for everybody on the roster,
Harry
dog.
Potter universe.
Is that not a real name?
No.
Oh, okay.
You've never seen... Everyone's like, how did J.K. Rowling name all of these characters just like racist stereotypes? All of them.
Back then, that was okay, though. Back then, it was like 10 years ago. I'm just saying back then, it was like what some people call normal, and we didn't have to really worry about everybody's, how somebody would feel.
They named one of the only black characters in that universe, Kingsley Shacklebolt.
That's okay. All right. That's kind of far.
The Irish character Seamus Finnegan is skilled in pyrotechnics.
Fire?
Because of the
Irish car bombs.
They be car bombing it. So.
Oh yeah, that's kind of wild.
Sometimes,
that's kind of crazy.
Not all of them, but they
a lot.
They do.
That's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, if you go deep into it, it was a crazy
go down
time.
a rabbit hole.
Oh, I love a little Harry Potter conversation on a Tuesday morning. Hey, Will, thanks.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
I'm glad the energy at Tigers practice was good yesterday, and you would have had no idea. I'm glad we got that insight.
Man, I'm telling you, man. I think I'm getting long-winded here, but I hope this is Penny gonna get in his mold, man. They letting him do his thing. They letting him have fun with it. So I really hope. And we got a group full of guys with no egos. I think we're gonna have a good time, man.
Will, we'll catch up with you next week.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll have another exhibition game,
Yes,
and we'll be 1 week closer to the regular season. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do some TV Tuesday. I'm going to show you Zendaya's look from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and if you have not seen it, prepare your eyes because it's one of the best things I saw all weekend. Plus, SNL, Will might stay. Another honey for Will to stay. Put her on the sidelines.
You put her on the sideline. You for sure losing the game.
It's over. We'll talk about SNL from this week, what we are watching. I started Fight Night. CJ started the new season of Abbott Elementary. I continue to watch the Cate Blanchett show on Apple TV, whose name I never can remember, but good television all around. We'll get into it when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment.
It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
How much have you added weight since your rookie year?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Rookie,
like
you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
What? You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Congratulations to the Vanderbilt Commodores. They have actually hit the over on their win total for the season. Winning number 3. Their total was 2.5.
Hey, listen. If I had told you Vanderbilt was going to hit the over on their win total against Alabama, you guys would have kicked me off the show.
Crazy. Absolutely insane.
I tried to argue that they were going to be bowl eligible.
And I said that was good. And they still might not be.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. Time for a little TV Tuesday before we get into the rest of our day. The NBA returns. It is going to cut into my TV viewing, I feel like. I got games to watch tonight.
How do we manage our time now?
I don't know. Every year I ask myself, I literally was sitting at home yesterday and I was like, when am I going to catch up on any of these shows?
There's no way that
there are no days.
It's not now.
Well, you get to the point where outside of marquee, and especially early, until you get to December, what are the NBA games that you are circling and giving your full attention to? I don't mean sitting down and watching the fourth quarter, sitting down start to finish. So I will do it on opening night.
Every Grizzlies game.
I do it for every Grizzlies game.
The opening night game.
And then big games along the way.
Big games.
I mean, I have to watch all the Warriors games too. And Chris is back invested.
All the Grizzlies games, all of the Warriors games.
He's convinced.
Convinced of
They
what?
filled the roster out. Everything's going to be fine.
Oh, it's not.
I know, and I have to deal with it. Okay? It's fine.
Okay.
It's going to be okay.
So who are the
I think
early, on paper, who are the teams that are this team is
most
on.
watchable teams.
Let me sit down and watch.
Well, early is hard because that's when you want to see how everyone looks
So
for
you
the
want to
first
see
time.
and you want to do that until December, you said.
I'll watch bits and pieces.
Okay.
Until the football season ends. Then you go full-fledged.
Gotcha.
That's all you watch.
Right.
But I still can find time to watch shows, is my point.
Oh, I can't.
Littered throughout.
I can't.
It's harder. It's a very difficult thing. I'm not going to watch anything tonight. And even worse, I've gone full big nerdo, and I'm reading a new book that I cannot put down. I'm obsessed with it. It's the only thing I want to read. It's called 11/22/63. It's a Stephen King book, but it's not a horror book. It's a time travel book about going back, and if you could go back and change the Kennedy assassination, would you? It's a crazy concept. I'm 100 pages in, and I'm telling everyone to read it. It's 700 pages, and I think everyone should read this book. It's so good. It's fascinating.
So Does the person stop the assassination?
I don't know.
Okay.
The person has just
this
decided
is-
to go back in time.
So this is go back in time.
But when
the decision that's made to go back in time and to alter history, not
Yes.
the actual altering of the history and then coming back, but just the decision.
I would assume you're going to get some of that
Okay.
too. It's also the decision-making process. It's the notion of like very butterfly effect, like if you change this, how does it impact everything else? And trying it out on other situations that exist within this book's universe. But the person goes back, there's like a portal into the past, and it drops you off in 1958. So you have to make it 5 years to get to the year of the Kennedy assassination.
What a twist!
It's it's a great plot.
You don't get to
and no
get
matter
right
what,
there.
when you come back, and this isn't a spoiler, this is all relatively early in the book, like laying out the scheme of it. Every time you come back, only 2 minutes have gone by from the world that you left.
Oh.
But every time you go back in time, it resets. So you start at the exact same place. So if you made changes and then went back, all of those changes would be erased.
Oh.
So like everything you do, like if you have forever implications that you want to change, you have to get it all done in that one trip. You can't go back and like make little changes here and there, come back to your normal life, go back, whatever.
Okay.
And you also age in that. So like you come back feeling older.
'Cause
Yeah,
you
it's
are
wild. Stephen King, man. I'm telling you, read it.
I'm not. But
I think it's so good. I want everyone to read it.
there's
I
no
almost
doubt
bought it
in
for
my
Chris
mind.
immediately because I was like, I want to read this with somebody as I read it.
No doubt in my mind that book is a good ass book.
Yeah.
It's reading though, man.
There's also a Hulu adaptation, but I don't want to.
Okay,
I don't
here we
want to
go.
watch it.
Now you're talking to me, baby.
I don't want to watch it. I want to read it. I think it's. I just want to go home and read. I just want to go home and read.
I would not.
I want to do.
I'll tell you right now, that decision would be an easy one for me to make. You're telling me I could stop this assassination? Because I think good things would probably happen for me right now if we stopped that assassination.
Yes, and that's what it's laid out as specifically, is like how it would drastically impact racial and racism in this country and racial tensions in this country.
You're asking me to live through 58.
Yeah, I'd go for you. I'd sacrifice myself
no
for
way
you.
in hell. What a good white savior
I'd
you
go
are.
back. That's me. The Blind Side, back to 1958. CJ was just a poor producer, stuck in his glass
That's true.
box every day.
All of that is true, though. Thank goodness white Jessica came through to save him. Stay tuned. Blindside 2. Blacker the better.
Oh. Interesting. We're working title.
We'll work on it.
We'll workshop the title. I did start Fight Night, which I'm enjoying. I'm only 2 episodes in, but CJ recommended that last week. And then we continue the, God, I cannot think of the name of the stupid show. Disclaimer is the show on Apple TV. It's really good. They are rolling out episodes per week. So I'm really enjoying that show. We did watch SNL this weekend. Michael Keaton was the host. Billie Eilish was the guest music performer. I thought it started really slow, just from a standpoint of Michael Keaton's monologue. I just thought it was a slow start. And then I thought it was one of the best episodes of SNL of the season. Like, I had multiple sketches on this episode that I laughed out loud.
Which one?
Hard. The Forbidden Romance was probably my favorite.
Oh, that was a good one.
And what makes it so good is they just use the lyrics to train Hey Soul Sister. Like, it's just a wonderful sketch of doing Hey Soul Sister with a ukulele. And it's Andrew Dismukes and Ego Nwandem. And I had never really thought about the lyrics of Hey Soul Sister like that. And it's the sketch of an interracial couple trying to convince their parents that they should be able to, maybe back in the 1950s or some time period that is alluded to that. And he's like, I wrote you a song. And he proceeds to just sing the lyrics of Hey Soul Sister. Ain't that Mr. Mister on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this song. This is how it goes. And then next thing you know, it's watching you's the only drug I need. So gangster. I'm so thug. You're the only one I'm dreaming of. And I'm like, why did Train write these lyrics? Why?
That's the most unthug way of saying I'm so thug
I'm so
ever.
gangster. I'm so thug. You're the only
And
one I'm dreaming
we
of.
just let it ride because that ukulele is amazing.
It is
Such a good
amazing.
song.
Another great lyric from that song, I believe in you like a virgin, you're Madonna, and I'm always going to want to blow your mind. Like, wow. That's just beautiful A-plus lyricism.
Weird song, but we rolled with it. We rock. I'll listen to it right now and turn up because that ukulele is incredible. Amazing what you can get away with a good ukulele.
It was exactly like similar energy to how I was saying Chris and I were singing Pink's Raise Your Glass. Yeah. So not so gangster, so thug, but she says, party crasher, panty snatcher, call me up if you're a gangsta. Don't be fancy, just get dancy. Why so serious? And we're just bopping along.
If the beat is right,
call me up if you a gangster. Like, what? What are we doing? Anyway, I loved that one, and I loved the what is it? Please Don't Destroy sketch of the plane jumping.
Oh, yes.
Where they're on the plane. I thought that was excellent. And then the TikTok sketch, which unfortunately I had to have a reckoning of. I knew every single reference in the TikTok sketch. Like they encapsulated TikTok in 3 minutes so perfectly, so much so that I have tried to give TikTok a break since watching that SNL sketch because I was like, surely there should have been one that went over my head.
Algorithm?
Thanks to you. You're sending me Dr. Umar videos once a week. Every white woman should have a CJ in their life who sends them Dr. Umar videos just to keep them humble.
Stay grounded. Stay grounded.
Do you think he sent them to Tyrese Halliburton this week?
Oh my gosh. I think he's somebody should. Somebody, because Halliburton is getting a bit ridiculous. It's always knowing where he is. It's 100% chance of know where Halliburton is.
It's fine.
Every single time.
I get Umar. I get the trad wife. I get the bodybuilders. Oh, they're always trying to make me a trad wife.
Or the bodybuilder.
I get the singing. Right now, the one that I get constantly that is just driving me insane that I want so much less of is so many people are building their entire platform of just going around and asking strangers, Trump or Kamala. Like they just ask.
Really?
So then I have to watch all of these people. Like they'll go to sporting events and say Trump or Kamala, Trump or Kamala. And one, just by nature, and one of the guys who does it never pronounces Kamala right. So I start off angry. It's not doing good things for me internally. And it also just bugs me. Like, why aren't you saying Trump or Harris? Like, why do we do this? Like, she has a name. She has a full name. Or you could say Donald or Kamala. Like, make it fair. And this is things women think about that men would never think about.
Never dawned on.
And only me. Well, a woke woman.
Like saying, hey, the Steelers are playing Cincinnati.
And I hate that.
Oh, do you?
Yes, it's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Grammatically, it's so obnoxious.
I need to do more
of it.
Like,
the Grizzlies are playing Utah tomorrow. Like, no, the Grizzlies are playing the Jazz, or Memphis is playing Utah. Or the Memphis Grizzlies are playing the Utah Jazz.
Typically, I'm going to be honest with you, I just go to whichever one is shortest. So Steelers is shorter than Pittsburgh. Bengals will be shorter than Cincinnati, so it'll be Steelers versus Bengals.
Okay, but you did it right.
But if the Steelers are playing the New York City Jets, it'll be Steelers are playing New York.
No, you would not.
Yes, I would.
Then who is it, Jets or Giants?
You'd figure that out.
That's on you.
You'd have to ask me a
follow-up. If you're interested in that game,
you'd have to ask me a follow-up.
On you.
The Steelers playing New York.
Did you have a favorite sketch from SNL?
I'm glad that what's the name of the people who did the jumping out the airplane bit?
Please Don't Destroy.
I'm glad that they're back. They weren't there first 2 episodes of the season. Whenever they come on, I perk up a little bit. I enjoy when they get together and doing their goofy things. And we can update.
Always.
That's pretty much it for me. It wasn't a particularly great. It wasn't an SNL episode for me.
Sure.
And that's
how it goes.
Every time we talk about SNL, that is my overarching thing.
Yeah.
Now there will be some, right? Keke Palmer come through. It's like, okay, Keke, they're gonna have to write jokes for Keke that I'm 100% going to get because I'm living these experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those experiences I'm not living, so I don't know where the ha-ha is. I'm not sure what the funny is. So
that's why Weekend Update always hits, because it's just relevant.
Because I know what the funny is there.
Sure.
I watched the TikTok sketch and was lost for most of it
Congratulations.
until Umar popped up. And I was like, there he is. There's my guy.
I was like, I've never hated myself more than knowing every single one of these little sketches.
You brought up that you were making your way through Fight Night.
Yeah, I'm only 2 episodes in. I'm just 2 in. But I like it. I'll probably go home and watch one of those. Okay. Well, no, I won't, because I'm going to read. This is my problem. It's going to take me 4 weeks to watch Fight Night.
When the hell are you going to play college football, by the way?
When am I going to start Civ 6? Chris
Are you
lost
trying
and
to
had
play?
No, I'm not. But all
But,
I
he
hear,
lost.
he lost, so now he started over. He's trying to be
With
better.
who?
I don't know.
Okay. Tell
I
Chris,
just
you
go
and I,
build your little
we need
civilization.
to hang out and talk through some Civ 6, baby. What y'all got going on this weekend? I might pop up.
We're dog sitting.
Does he not take the game with him?
He does.
Okay,
I
so
mean, he
Chris,
absolutely will be taking this game with him.
I'm going to pop up. Let's turn up.
Saturday was crazy because it was college football. It was SNL at night. And then I did try to watch a little bit of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know they're repackaging it, and I think they're airing some special on ABC either tonight or tomorrow night. But I obviously was highlighting Cher, and I wanted to see Cher get inducted at 78 into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And she performed with Dua Lipa. And honestly, Cher could have just performed by herself. I love Dua Lipa. Everything's fine. But I would have just loved to see Cher do Believe all by herself and crush it at the age of 78. But the most important thing from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was Zendaya, who wore a Bob Mackie dress. She understood the assignment in honor of Cher. Bob Mackie was, these are interesting cuts of the Zendaya dress. There she is. Look of the year. Look of the year. Have you ever seen a more beautiful sight than Zendaya? Look at this. She is stunning. She stuns. Gorgeous, beautiful. CJ's just locked into the computer. Chris was so excited when I was sending him these. She doesn't do anything for you?
No.
She's a goddess.
If y'all say
Oh
so,
my
that's
God.
cool.
Ugh.
All right.
I love everything about this.
I'm excited for you people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I saw somebody put Zendaya, Dua Lipa, and Cher dream blunt rotation, which if you did drugs, that would be a thing. I don't either. But I would love to hang out. How about
Please
dream
don't test
dinner
me.
party? Dream dinner party rotation.
A dinner party with those three, I could get.
I just want Cher. The other two are Zendaya looks beautiful, but I just want to have dinner with Cher. I want one time. I think I was just jealous of Dua Lipa getting to sing "Believe" with Cher. My dream would be to just do one bar.
One song with Cher. Just walk into a
Cher.
karaoke bar and get ready to
my
sing.
God.
And Cher's like, wait a second, let me come up and show you how it's done. And you guys get to do a duet together. Clip it. Cher, come to Memphis. Jessica wants to sing with you at a karaoke bar.
Please.
Please, Cher, come to Memphis
Please.
so Jessica Benson can sing with you at a karaoke bar.
Cher, it is my lifelong dream to just sing one song with you. I would lose my mind. I did think to myself, if Cher ever came back to perform in Memphis, and I think she was scheduled to come here right before COVID and then never ended up coming. If she ever came back to the Federal Express Forum, I would go borderline psycho behavior to figure out a way to meet Cher. And then I would just bombard song upon her.
Easy peasy.
That's not easy peasy. When's the last time you met any of the artists who rolled through FedEx Forum? Were you hanging with Maxwell last weekend?
One, we know where they're at.
Yes.
Two, we know where to go.
Yes.
3, we have badges. We have official looking badges.
Yes.
4, we have a work badge that gets us in damn near everywhere.
Stop giving away my secrets.
Once you get
Don't
in,
say it out loud.
Once you get in, just with confidence, you have to just bob about until you run into them. That's what if it was somebody I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't.
Okay.
But for Cher, because you lose your job. Understand this though. Once you meet this person, you're fired. You can't be doing that.
I know.
But for Cher, I don't think anybody would fault you for getting fired. Can you imagine what happened at your last job? Yeah. Oh, I had this incredible access and ended up coming across a Cher of all people. And I had to meet Cher, so they fired me after that because I abused my privilege. If I was hiring you, I'd be like, oh, you're a go-getter, you're a risk taker, you're not afraid. I'm going to hire you.
Yes.
You have to do it for Cher.
You'd have to.
You would have to.
I would have to. There were other fun things. I want to see the Tribe Called Quest tribute that I didn't get a chance to watch because I was flipping back to the Georgia-Texas game. Deanne Warwick's tribute was nice. And they did some really poignant stuff for Jimmy Buffett, who was honored this year. And obviously he passed away this past year. And his wife and his daughter were there. And they were crying the whole time. And James Taylor performed. And it was beautiful. Before we get out of here, you started the new season of Abbott Elementary. Still got it. Still good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know when it's going to go stale.
But it's
at
still
some
good.
Point, it's not
Every
now.
great sitcom does at some point.
Not now. Still going.
Okay.
You know how the last season ended, right? With Gregory.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, we're coming back the first 2 episodes. They're trying to figure some stuff out.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
And we're getting the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Abbott
Which is
Elementary
such a weird
crossover episode. It's so weird, so I need to see how it works. Speaking of, that's Danny DeVito, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
everybody on that show is a curmudgeon. And that's what we call a full circle movie.
And that's why you do the show. I just did a square. That was, oh God, so
Hey,
embarrassing.
somebody teach this woman geometry.
Geography?
I said geometry.
You could teach me both. It's gotten a little dull in recent years. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the return of the NBA tonight. Knicks, Celtics, Lakers, Timberwolves. We'll be back tomorrow morning to talk about those games, plus a full preview of the Memphis Grizzlies season as they tip it off against the Jazz tomorrow night. It is here. I'm excited. We'll see you then. Bye.
So what are we doing tomorrow?
Things.
Well, you gave
Predictions.
Me okay, Kyra, get on that. We're going to do, you said, wins?
Total wins, first 10 games, leading scorer, leading rebounder. I'd say leading assister, but I feel like that's too obvious. John. And MVP of the team.